connector. So you've got one of these F15 and your cooling fan doesn't work. It's not always the fan. In fact, this is another car. The car I did today, which the video was about, the customer had changed the fan. The fan didn't work. And what we're going to do in this video, we're going to look at exactly why it didn't work and how easy it is to diagnose a LIN bus when it fails, because that's what it is. It's LIN controlled the fan. This is a petrol engined F15, but it's got exactly the same fan on. And as you'll see in the video, I used this to capture a LIN signal and then to see and compare with the other one, which was a diesel. And that's it.
Well, as always, I like to start off with the fault codes, as you know. So first off, electric fan, open circuit. That is our LIN wire, as you'll come to see pretty soon. Then it sets some consequential fault codes for the fan not responding. And then it thinks, oh, it's blocked, so it's electrically faulty. Well, it ain't, but it thinks it is, because it doesn't know, because it can't see what you can see as the fault finder. So then I thought, before doing the electrical testing, it's always worth trying to activate it. I tried it on the Thinktool and ISTA, failed 3 times. Gave it up as a lost job. Went straight to connector. Connector, there's 3 wires. Great big red one. A nice big thick brown one and a LIN. The red and brown are permanent, so you've got a chassis ground and you've got a permanent live. Battery voltage always on that one, it doesn't switch off. That was okay, 12 volt on the big thick red one. The big thick brown one, they were okay. Should have 9 to 10 volts on our LIN. Didn't have it. Had battery voltage on the LIN. That's not good, is it? Shouldn't have battery voltage on the LIN. Should have 9 to 10 volts with the ignition on. And with the wire, or the whole connector disconnected, as you can see there, it had 0 volts on that wire. Well, there should be 0.4 from the DDE on that line. Not much, but it's enough. So then I did a continuity test between the DDE and the fan on that line, and it failed. That means there's a break in it. Now, I could have got out the old halogen bulb and done a load test on it and, you know, check the wire and all that business. But to be fair, there was no need, because it's only 1.5 meters long. So, A and B, that's what we'll use and simplify it. DDE is A and fan is B. So we're just checking that line from A to B. That's all we're doing with continuity testing, what you saw me do just there. And it failed. There's a break on that green line somewhere. And as I said, 0 volts unplugged. Should be 0.4 unplugged. Remember that, it's important. And then when we actually have the system sort of, as I've wrote there, it's unplugged, 0. I just, you know, there's another one. There's another reinforcement for you that it should be 0.4. I'm quite thorough with these with these texts. Then when it's actually plugged in, you should have 3.4 volts with the ignition off. And as I said, 9 to 10 volts with it on. Well, we had basically battery voltage at all times. And even when the ignition was off, we had battery voltage. That ain't good, is it, really? Let's be honest. And I can only assume it's some sort of internal bridge in the driver of the fan unit. And that isn't a fault. That's just because there's no LIN. So, that line, no continuity. Didn't have the time. Customer wasn't willing to pay. Made a decision. Let's just chop the wire out. Let's do a wire temporarily. And then we'll wire it in good and proper and make it good and make it pretty and make it all pretty decent, so that it'll stand the test of time, so to speak. So that's what I did. Before that, here's another view of the continuity testing. So I'm back probing. Always remember, back probe, because if you front probe them, you'll damage them, especially those LO connectors. You'll damage the pins, then you'll get open circuit fault codes, and it's a big disaster, so just back probe them. And I'm only doing what you saw just shortly, continuity testing it, but I'm just showing you a better camera angle of exactly what I did. And yeah, again, it failed. So, we are again, same fault code as what we had on Ista, except I used a Thinktool this time, and I managed to get it erased because I fixed the lin. Happy days. In this frame, which you're going to see now, and that's what we call sort of the method of communication on the lin, you'll see part of a field which is called a synchronization field. You can go online and Google that. I'm not going to go into those 3 fields, which would break synchronization and then the ID. But the master unit, which is the DDE, is actually transmitting, and it's in like a standby mode, if you like. But part of that field you'll see is synchronization, and you can just see it there. And it's really nice to see that. And Pico term it serial decoding, and I used to use that a lot on CAN bus and stuff on Pico to capture the CAN messaging and then work out what they were, really, kind of thing. So that's really nice to see. And if we were to alter the time divisions, we could actually make that faster, that scope trace. But the main thing we want to see is, have we got a LIN bus functioning? Because prior to this, prior to fixing it, we had a dead wire with a break in it, and we just had 12 volts on the wire at the measured at the fan unit, basically. So then obviously with this repaired, then we didn't have 12 volts anymore, we had a lovely LIN trace. So just going to basically run this wiring now, make it good, and try and solder them where possible, and a bit of heat shrink and make it look pretty. Just one thing I do want to point out, because people might not like me running a wiring like this. In the real world, customers won't often pay a huge amount to pull a harness apart and actually find the break in the wire. If you work in dealer land, as I did for quite many years at a BMW dealership, you can actually write a good warranty report and you'll get paid what's called an open time, which essentially means if there's no flat rate or there's no warranty code, i.e. nothing you can claim for, if you write it up well with supporting evidence, they'll pay you how long it took you. However, as I said, in the real world, customers, if they're paying for it, they want it to be done as cheaply as possible, to put it bluntly. I would always advise, where possible, pull the harness apart and find the break. You've seen some of my other videos where I've actually done that, and some of my PMM magazine articles you've seen I've also done that. But each case varies from customer to customer. In this case, I just did as good a job as I possibly could do. So, we went to the E-box, which was under there. There's a nice little conduit already open there for the wiring harness, and we're just running it down here, basically. Very, very disgusting design. This, well, it shouldn't be on a car, I hate that boy, but it should be way bigger. Huge, in my opinion, with a drain going down there, out onto the floor, because this is very corrosive. Now, they're not bad. I've seen these plastered, but I've never seen one with a knackered fan LIN bus. Now, it could be a coincidence, just because it's got AdBlue. It could be broken anywhere. You just don't know. Accident damage, whatever. Nobody knows. All this, I'm going to tell them to order it. It's all broken, and the air conditioning pipes are just, well, there's no brackets for them. So they need to fix that, because it's quite disgraceful, and we can't, it can't be left like that long term. It's ridiculous. So I don't know what's happened, but we'll soon get that sorted on a future visit.